This is a medieval post, in other words, gatehouse. One of few remaining very good surviving examples of this gatehouse. They think that this was actually built in about the 13th century. This is one of the gatehouses of the London Wall. So it's quite impressive. There were about 7 gatehouses on the wall around London, particularly here on the east side. So this is one of the surviving structures. Pretty impressive, from the 13th century, they suspect. You note how thick those walls are. This is built for a defensive purpose, a gateway, a gatehouse, defend the city from attack. The Romans, when they arrived in AD 43 in England, they actually chose London, not just for the capital city, but for a trading post, essentially. And they built the wall. This one here is one of the best surviving examples of the wall. Here you see the Roman tiles, and they just continued building here. And they suspect this was built in 200 AD. But and the wall, this is what London was, the beginning of London. It was the Romans who built the wall. It was the Romans who started the city. The city originally was not a colonia, which means a colony, a city. It was basically known as a trading post. And it was only during the later part of the centuries that London grew in importance as a very important city. Medieval period, they added up a bit more, but it was during the 18th century they started knocking down the wall, which continued apace going on to the 19th century. The fact that these walls are still standing 1,000 years later is a testament to the Romans and their building techniques, just strength of these walls. And we can see here, right here, a later period of construction here. You can see, notice how this is all different. I suspect this is a medieval, probably about the 17th century that they added on these brickworks. But this here is these tiles. You see the tiles there? These tiles here, these are Roman. The Romans actually would use cement a lot. They actually could use cement. They built these things to last. This is how thick that wall, the thickness is incredible. This would have been the boundary of Roman London. The wall stands about 20 feet high and is 9 feet thick. 9 feet thick in places, but 20 feet high it stands, this wall. The London Wall. You've got the medieval additions on the other side. There's been some, you can see just over here perfectly the different additions to the wall. You've got the Roman bit, which is very regular, very much uniform, and then you've got the medieval bit here. You see that? That's the medieval bit, which is very jumbled up. Yeah, that's the Roman bit down there, very regular coursework, very regular. And you can see the medieval. Now you see the bricks there in the middle, the bricks in the middle there, that's, I would suspect that's around about the 17th century or earlier. But you can see the additions that they made. So the wall stood 20 feet high originally for the Roman period, and it just kept growing. In the medieval, they just added to the wall. Pretty impressive construction. According to the thing here, the wall itself is 35 feet high, and the Roman section stands 14.5 feet. Wall was built in AD 200 during the Saxon period that fell into decay. At the time of its construction by the Romans, this was one of the largest undertakings construction ever done at the time here in Britain. That's the medieval section of the wall, those windows, fire the arrows through at the attacking enemy. So you can see the tiles there, that's the Romans. They laid the tiles on there. This part of the wall is the Roman part of the wall. Then we come up to the medieval part of the wall, just up here. Well, this is Mick Angelhere, and we shall continue on with our exploration of London.